so special.
I'm telling y'all, in this faith, the only thing that you can do is try. You gotta apply these laws, statutes, and commandments with the faith of the Most High, Yahweh. I'm telling you, I tried. A mouth is hard to contain, the face to point the blame. I got a 9 iron, that'll plug you. Welcome to the range. Dry bones, hunger pains, pestilence and hurricanes. Niggas wanna entertain, the blind can't ascertain. The war's for your brain, wanna suit up, then come see me. Read John 8 and 32 and maybe we can be free. No hookups or freebies, Israelite rules on GP. Making the heathen flee, living the word is my destiny. I might get foul, throw the towel, where's the referee? Friends connect my Hennessy, you gassed off jealousy. Effeminate tendencies, love affair with enmity. These kites want our legacy and lied about equity. Rebel like the Maccabees, worldwide catastrophe. Pray when we face the east, it's 7 crowns on the beast. Let my dogs at the least hit the word in the streets. I'm made weather with the word, all wins, no defeats. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these things be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I'll be a stand-up Jake. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I'll be a stand-up Jake. As good as it gets, the Lord said it best. Yours is delayed and mine is expressed. My spirit is vexed. Hit the left and Van Ness, keep the law for success. I heard the word about Kemet and I wasn't impressed. Nevertheless, I keep my sword sharp. You love playing in the dark. Greatest of the art. Harrison Fords get torn apart. Why you wanna start a game that you can't win? A bunch of jokers, charlatans, and Harley Quinns. Melanated skin, holding the upper hand. You rock on the motherland, gird with the bands. Do as the Lord commands, and it's like the sands. 144 grand is how we seal the deal. It's no swine with the meal, elected like you're ill. Israel, how it feels, time to break the spell. Shouts to UZL, from the depths of hell. I'm doing life with Christ and I don't need no bail. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these ain't be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I'll be a stand-up Jake. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I'll be a stand-up Jake. Well. Shabbat Shalom, fam. What's up, y'all? All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shah. This is your brother IQAhmath. I acquired first name. IQ is all the same. Blessing everybody. a blessed and prosperous Shabbat, man, day of rest, man. All praises. We made it to another Sabbath class prior to our new moon. For those keeping a new moon on the same date as us, we'll be keeping a new moon this evening. Just wanted to hit y'all with a quick little DSTM before the new moon, because we won't be having a new moon class on the MOTC channel. We'll be with our brothers at Bow this evening. So want to tap in on the class, man, go check us and check Brothers at Believers of the Way this evening. All right. Is everybody all right? Let me know. Hit a 7 in the chat, man. Salute to the saints that's in the house, man. The house of Byron in the house. Brother Ron in the house. Bayan Shakal in the house. Shalom to you, right? Brother Jackson in the house. Ashar in the house. Kohath in the house. Shalak in the house. That's right. All praises, man. Welcome. Come on in. I know this is a little off-brand time. Usually either our closing Sabbath is around 4:30 Pacific time, or I'm doing DSTM earlier in the day on a 11 o'clock our time. But just want to get some things in, man. Can't go without sharing some info with the fam on the weekly. Lord willing, once my schedule kind of readjusts and I get things together, I'll be doing more during the week as I used to do. But until then, at least once a week, Lord's will, I'll be tapping in with these DSTM episodes, man. We're on episode 213. All praises.
All praises, man. So, y'all know the rules. Hopefully, everybody wiped their feet when they came on in, and everybody's doing good. Okay, Shalak, I see you. I see you. All right, Jackson. Good, man. I'm glad to hear. Glad to hear everybody solid. Um, we'll give everybody a hot second to come on. Slide on in. Notifications be going out late, if at all. If at all. But nonetheless, let me just make sure I got everything configured on my end, and then we'll get started. It looks good. Looks good. All right. So, like I said, we're just gonna tap in and get a few. Well, that's good to know. So you YouTube ain't slighting everybody. All praises, man. Glad it's something. It's working for some of y'all. It's all good. The rest will be sliding in as the time elapses, and let's see what time it is. So, like I said, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, and I say that precautionary because we don't know how the spirit's gonna move. I say that often. I ain't gonna be too long. I'm gonna just share a few things, and before you know it, we done ran through 30 slides or articles or more, and the spirit just keeps it moving. So I definitely do want to share some things and just kind of tap in and see where we at in the measurement of time, as the Most High permits. Um, so let me share my screen and we'll get to the business at hand. Let me share this audio. All right. So I think I want to start in the scripture. Let's start off in Second Ezra. I think I want to go there. We got a lot going on, as y'all know. It seems endless. Always seems like every week, every day, it's something that raises your eyebrows. It's something that makes you say, "What the hell?" Like it's always something going on right now, and now we see things kind of moving more at a breakneck speed, where it's hard to even keep up with. A lot of the madness that's happening. So there may be some things. Some of y'all send me, videos or articles, and I may not get to them. I'm gonna have to double back because I got about 30 articles to share today, and I know sometimes that's information overload. Like, but I gotta just get it out there. Anything that catches your eye, write it down, go back, check the full article on your own, maybe build on some more stuff. But uh, I legitimately had probably about 60 or more just from this week that I could have went with. But I'm trying to just get some of the highlights of the ones that I want to kind of share. Some y'all may already be aware of, some you may not. Um, so I'm gonna double back, man. Lord willing, I'll try to get something up tomorrow as well, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Let's start off with Second Ezra 6, and let's start. We're gonna read it 17. We'll read down. It says, "And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it like the sound of many waters." Oh, where have we heard that one before? And the you know, Old Testament only cats say, man, there's no evidences of uh Christ in the New Testament. Well, here let's look at this Revelation 1. Revelation 1. Y'all know this one. 13 down to 15. It says, "And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters." Oh, hold on. Let's go back over here. Let's go back over here. So Ezra is receiving revelation and understanding from the angel. And he said, this angel that he's talking to spake, and it was the sound like many waters. Okay, let's continue. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Oh, so it said the days draw nigh when this same angel that's speaking and saying that he's got a voice of the sound of many waters, we just read in Revelation 1 and 15 that this is the Son of Man. We all know that's speaking about Yahweh Shai. He's got the sound of many waters, and he's saying he's going to revisit the earth. He's going to revisit the earth. Let's go back and read it again. And it's said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Well, we read this one before in Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Oh, time is going to come when he is said to visit them that dwell upon the earth. Sound of many waters. Y'all putting it together with me? Okay. Let's see. Verse 21 of Matthew 24. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. We've read that one, also precepted, and that's what Christ is quoting in Daniel, the 12th chapter, and the second verse. The times that we're embarking on is going to be like none other. None other. And you can start hearing that type of conversation in various circles. Various circles from the economic standpoint. I'm hearing economists. I was listening to the little Moabite that wrote that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he was on an interview with some other show. And he said, we've never seen anything like this before economically in our lifetimes. Nothing on record that can explain or have an understanding on the impact of the collapse of America, the dollar, the economic system, the banking system, because it affects the world. It's different when you have Zimbabwe, they crash. Venezuela, they crash. Argentina, oh, they're crashing. What's a country in the Middle East? Lebanon, they crash. It only affects them. It doesn't affect the world. But being that America, the great whore, this beast system runs and controls and operates and has its tentacles attached to all the countries of the earth, as it goes, so goes the world. That's how they say, like in sports. Whatever the star player is, LeBron or whoever, the great players are. That saying where it says the team goes as far as that individual goes. Well, that's how this world is working. The team is going to go, the world is going to go as far as America goes. If America crashes, the world crashes. That's why the world was sitting back, waiting with bated breath to see what America was going to do in regards to this debt ceiling and them getting their economic situation back on track. That was just really just a stall tactic. America's still doomed. Doesn't matter. Thus saith the Lord. Y'all seen the lesson I did last week in regards to the imminent destruction of America, modern day Babylon. I mean, there's no getting around it. There's no wiggle room. There's no negotiating. There's no other thing. There's nothing that America can do to avoid its imminent fold. They have to go down because 2nd Ezra 6 tells us that Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. We need a hard reset in the earth right now. And the very people that's going to take control is us. Blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, man, otherwise known as the holy children of Israel. We're the only ones that can take this world as it was created for us and put it back in perspective of righteousness and rotations of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and righteous judgment. It can only be done by us. There's no other nation that can step in and say, you know what, Esau, you don't had your run. Give us a crack at it. Moab thinks they're going to be the ones that come up. Moab, they can forget about it. They cannot make any moves without the so-called white man. We've discussed that on numerous occasions. No matter what the damn media is trying to put out there, oh, China's the big threat. China's trying to take over. China. You know, they can't do a damn thing without Esau, man. And that's just the bottom line. So as the world goes, so does Esau. Esau goes down, so does the world, and here comes Israel to come on pick up the pieces. All right. So the time we're entering in is going to be like nothing we've ever seen before. Continuing on, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And they said, if the time isn't cut short, nobody will be saved in this thing. Because we're seeing the stockpiling, we're going to see an article in a minute about all the nations that have the capability, the money, and the wherewithal and the military might. They're all stacking up on nukes right now. They ain't stacking up on regular weapons, ammunitions, investing in regular missiles. Everybody's trying to get a hold of some nukes. Why are they all? We'll get to it. See, I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to jump the gun, but it's a reason why all the nations are seeking out the most deadliest destructive weapons available. If we're looking at why, the so-called white man is out here imminently destroying not only the earth, this is why you see the whole earth all out of course. Everything's out of course right now. From the weather patterns to the food patterns. I mean, I was meditating on this the other day. And, the scriptures say I believe it's in Isaiah, where the Most High said, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. But we'll get that in a second because I want to elaborate on that point. But let me stay focused, and we'll get to Isaiah in a second. The way that things are moving in the earth right now, nobody would be saying. I mean, the white man has no problem committing acts of suicide and kamikaze missions, man. If that means nobody else rules outside of him, he'd rather destroy everything as opposed to conceding and allowing the children of Israel to rise up. I mean, this is why he's trying to do his excavations out to Mars, which he's not doing. He's trying to send out robots and trying to send out satellites because he can't get out there. He can't get past that Van Allen belt. I don't give a damn what Buzz Aldrin said his experience was when he stepped on the moon. He's a damn lie. This is why they're unleashing the Project Blue Beam and the fake reports with the alien invasions and everything else. Space Force, Star Wars programs. He's trying to create an atmosphere to where he's like, we have to do some otherworldly things when it comes down to warfare on the earth, which could mean quite possibly everybody dies. Except for him, because he thinks he's going to be 12 miles under the ground in this bunker waiting for the smoke to clear, and he's going to come up and establish a new earth. Hell no. That's not going down. The Most High is not letting him escape. So the days have to be shortened. This is why we're seeing time picking up so fast right now. We're halfway through 2023, according to Esau's calendar. We're already in the 6th month, halfway through. I mean, and time is moving at breakneck speed. Before you know it, we're going to be at the end of 2023, looking at 2024 in the face. And everything that we've been talking about in regards to the future prophecies, from the escalations of World War III to the economic collapsing. Don't think because the so-called white man said, we've solved the debt ceiling, we're just going to print up $3 trillion more and add to the debt. We're just going to, can continue on with inflation. People was looking at Jerome Powell and the Fed this past week, and because he didn't raise the interest rates anymore. Oh, he took a pause. Oh, we must be doing good. Inflation must be going down. I can't tell. My grocery bill has not reduced. My gas in my car, that has not reduced. Matter of fact, I'm convinced that they taking shorts on the damn gas. Because my gas be burning up fast as hell now. They must be putting a little more ethanol, a little more water, or something going on. Because if y'all notice that, put some gas in your vehicle, and that mug is draining out faster than it used to, it ain't no different than what's happening in the stores with shrinkflation. You're paying more for less of a product. You get to look at a bag of chips, half the bag is air. But meanwhile, they're talking about, oh, we're making progress. Everything's on the right track. With the interest right now, is at 5 point something percent. It needs to be down to 2 to be quote unquote back to normal. So imagine over the last year and a half, with the interest rates going as they've been going, and before that, I mean, really, for the last few years, inflation has been out of control. So if it's taking a few years just to get down to 5.2, that means you got to get down 3% more, 3.5% more. So that's a few more years before this is even put back into normal. But time's going to be cut short because the elect needs to be saved from the incoming and impending dooms. Then it says, verse 23, then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And that's important right there. That's important. Because even though, the so-called white man with his technology and sciences or whatnot, he's not saying it's in the name of Christ. However, he does present himself as a quote unquote prophet, a futurist. That's what they call themselves, futurists. This is where they had the think tanks and they talk about what they plan on, what's going to happen in the future, and how they're going to execute the plan. Look that term up, the futurists. They don't call themselves prophets, but what do? Great signs and wonders. They utilize technology to have the world in awe. Revelation 13, when it talked about them paraphrasing, captivating the world with great signs and wonders from heaven. And we know that that's the atomic bomb, the hydrogen bomb that they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But also just the fact that he's able to do many wonders with his technology. They got the robots doing performance surgeries on you. AI is in here having whole blown conversations and relationships with people. Deep fake technology. Voiceover technology. I mean, he's constantly trying to amaze everybody with his signs and wonders. Insomuch it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. People start believing in the fact of his technologies that's going to be the saviors of the earth. Oh, the white man's going to figure out a cure for cancer. White man in this technology, he's going to figure out a way to defuse bombs. His missile defense systems are going to stop everything. Oh, the white man's going to no. And you start trusting back in. Oh, there's a new way. I'm going to protect my identity. I just have to go ahead and buy into his system of a digital ID. I can make sure that nobody steals my identity, steals my money. All I have to do is continually buy. These are the type of things that he's going to be deceiving everybody with. Okay. And this is the time that Christ was saying all these things are going to happen when he comes back to visit the earth. Jumping back over to second Ezra. Oh, I did say we are going to go to Isaiah, right? Uh, 5 and 20, right? And I was meditating on this the other day. And we always talk about, and I in particular love stressing the fact that we're in like a twilight zone. Everything is backwards, right? And then the spirit hit me and said that was prophecy of how we're living right now. The misgendering of individuals, the persecution of the righteous for standing up for the Bible. Everything that we're seeing right now was right is wrong, was wrong is right. We're seeing that so heavy right now that this scripture came to mind in Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Meaning, once we see everything being done in reverse, everything is backwards now. The Most High says the people that buy into that philosophy, that buy into that doctrine of thinking, destruction is going to happen to you. You're going to get put to death, man, buying into this false ideology and false security that Babylon presents for us. The Most High said, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil." You know, people clamoring and can't wait to 2024 so they can vote in their next Caesar. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? I seen that damn Trump motorcade when he got indicted, and this is how how much of a stage show that whole thing is. He comes in with a whole entourage. They monitoring him. Oh, he just pulled his flight just landed in Miami. Oh, he's driving into the courthouse. And then the headlines come out. Trump has been arrested. I mean, I still ain't seen the mugshot yet. They just told him about the charges that he got hit up with for the confidential documents. Like I said last week, Slow Biden got confidential documents. Who's knocking on his door? Mike Pence have confidential documents. Ain't nobody sweating him. What about I'm sure Obama, all of them got it. The Clintons. Hillary Clinton had a whole damn email server full of information that she tried to hide and destroyed it. Ain't nobody tripping out that. That's how business works when it comes to the so-called white man. He constantly operates in evil. But they making a mark of Donald Trump or Chump because he won't fall in line. He wants to establish his own prideful, establishment of rule, and they ain't having it for whatever reason. But nonetheless, when he leaves out the courthouse, it's some jakes out there. I don't know if y'all seen it, but there's a video out there. Some jakes out there with their pro-Trump signs. And then it's another brother. He's across the street, anti-Trump. And these two ignorant, dumbed down, knuckle dragging Negroes, two groups. It's a group of jakes, and then there's one jake by itself who's against Trump. These are the only ones who's going face to face, threatening each other to fight about which massa is going to treat them better. All the other nations, everybody else is all out there, man. They all got their signs out there, and it's the same video when the little stupid fool ran out in front of one of the cars in Trump's motorcade, and he had on the pinstripe suit, talking about he needs to go to jail, and the Secret Service ran him up out of there. But I said, look at this, man. The only jakes are sitting up here fighting, or not even fighting, but arguing and coming to each other's faces about massa is damn Negroes. That's woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Man, everything is backwards, man. We see some ignorant niggas on the street, and they talking about Trump, and the other one talking about hell with Trump, no Trump, and these Negroes in each other's face, chasing each other down to run up on each other, ready to fight over the damn devil. That's when you know things is backwards. So woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. I mean, we're in the times right now. This is a time of destruction. Woe. Misery, destruction. These are the times that we're in right now when everything is backwards. Second verse is going back over here. Verse 19. We'll read 18 again. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. So we're in the times when we're moving in the times where the affliction of our people has been fulfilled. Man, now the grace and the mercy of the Lord is wide open for us to repent and return to the Most High in the Spirit and the truth, to return back in the faith of Christ and to keeping the commandments. So now the affliction is being fulfilled, although we're still seeing our people being afflicted and persecuted, and we're still going under the curse. That's because we haven't sealed the 144,000 and the third of Israel has not reached the apex of our repentance. However, the Most High says, when he says that the affliction of Zion is fulfilled, meaning now is the time that we can repent. Now the time of grace and mercy of the Most High is open for us to return unto him. Case in point in Isaiah 40. Comfort ye, my people, saith the Most High. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Most High, make straight in the desert a highway for our power. So the voice crying in the wilderness, remember that with John? John was uh, John the disciple, the predecessor of Christ, was going out teaching repentance, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand, utilizing the now defunct water baptism to cleanse Israel from their sins, because what John came from the line of the Levites, you know, and that's how he understood, and that was the diverse washings or whatnot of cleansings that was to take place when it came down to repentance of sins in the Old Testament. So now the way was being prepared for Christ to come back, and now we're seeing the door being open for us to repent. This is why it's important. Now is the time for the true worshipers to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Revelation 13:11 says that now is the time that we should be returning, for our salvation is nearer than we believed. Romans 13. I'm not putting a stamp on any date, not putting a stamp on any, no. What I am saying is that what the scriptures say in Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time. So if we understand and know the times that we're in, we just got to seeing about various instances in which we're looking to see what time frame are we in as far as prophecy and the returning of Yahweh Shai and the judgment of the earth, and Israel returning back to being the righteous rulers of the earth, and judgment coming down on the heathen and Esau and the ending of his kingdom, so forth and so on. It's all here. And now if we know the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So we believe that the end is coming, but even the scriptures say, man, it's even closer than you think it is. Even closer than when we believed was a time. It could be closer than what I'm even saying. Yahweh knows, Most High knows. We just go off of what we see and what we read and what we observe and understand, right? So back to 2nd Ezra 6, and then we'll get to the current events. Verse 18, it says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. So the world as we know it, the world as we see it, will vanish away. The earth is not going to be destroyed. The scriptures say that the earth was made for our sakes, but portions of the earth will be destroyed, in particular America. But even the ways of the world that we're seeing and all the unrighteousness and the wickedness and whatnot, the Most High said those things will begin to vanish away. Then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. So now it's saying that the books are going to be open before the heavens, man, and all of the scriptures are going to see together, meaning all of them will confirm the prophecies and the judgments and the righteousness and the history that the scriptures pronounced. So these are the times that we're in. These are the times that we're observing, and it's all upon us right now. Let's start off here. All right. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right. Shalom to my ox, Smiley Judah in the house. Naphtali in the house. Shalom, brother. LSU repping in the house. Shalom, shalom. All right. So let's get to it then. Let's get to it. All right. So continuing on, man, with Moab and his relationship with Esau, man, here he goes. We know that constantly we've been chronicling and watching China and their involvement with this war. We know on record, they said by 2027, regardless of what's going on, if Taiwan is not back in their possession, they're going to war. So that's in give or take 3 years from now. Could be sooner than that. We just got the reading that the time is going to be cut short for the elect's sake. So something may go down that it makes them push the panic button even sooner than that. But we're seeing here words like this. Xi prepares China for quote extreme scenarios, including conflict with the West. So meanwhile, China's out here preparing for extreme scenarios, and preparing for war with the West. And slow Biden is got trannies hanging out at the White House, taking selfies and doing all kind of foolishness here in America. That's the vanity of the so-called white man. That's the vanity of him believing that nobody or nothing is going to be able to make moves on him. Well, the scriptures let it be known that the nations are going to rise up against him. He's gonna have some opposition that come from the nations, but he won't be ultimately taken down less by the power of Yahweh Shai, the angels, and the elect of Israel, right? But China and the rest of the nations out here plotting for war, man, and slow Biden is out here slow dancing with trannies at the White House. This how you know, man, America's gonna be getting hit upside the head with a rude awakening. Okay, so China's out here preparing for war, as per usual. Let's continue. Chinese parts help Iran supply drones to Russia quickly, investigators saying. So you see here, the nations out here conspiring together. Well, we know NATO was already doing their job, and the West and America and the Great Whore is out here supplying um, uh, Ukraine with endless ammunitions and weapons to help fight this war. So now we're seeing the rising of the opposition and the recognizing of who else is now in this war that's actively helping Russia against what's ultimately going to be a world war. Well, we see China and Iran are helping to supply drones to Russia, right? After Ukraine downed the Iranian drone, a Chinese part in the weapon showed it had been built and sent to Russian forces in 3 months. So China is helping Russia with weapon supplies, parts, or whatnot. See, they say we're not going to give weapons. However, we'll give the tools. We'll give the parts needed to help make the weapons. See, that's how they kind of tiptoe around the lines of rules of engagement in war. So China will sit back and say, we're not supplying weapons, and we're not going to actively declare our support and Russia in this war. We're going to actively be open about our relationship. Yes, we're good friends with Russia. That's our ally. We're building a new economy with our our Edomite counterparts. You know, but as far as them directly just giving them bombs, nukes, and ammunition, they can't do that. So what do? They go ahead and say, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead on and give them some parts to help make drones. And we know Iran and Elam, the bowmen, that's their specialty in making, certain aerial weapons or whatnot, as we know in the scriptures, that we've read before. Matter of fact, do we need to go there? Um, where was that in Jeremiah? Jeremiah. Let's look at that real quick. Jeremiah 49 and 335. When we talk about Elam, you're talking about Iran and the Persians, right? And it says, "Thus saith the power of hosts, the Most High power of hosts. Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. The chief of their might is their bow." We've talked about and shown. I've shown y'all the example for those who've seen the movie 300, and the Persians laying down the rain of arrows. I'm not gonna go there. I was gonna show y'all, but I'm sure y'all remember the reference. And the representative, the messenger from the Persian side, and he told Leonidas, he said, "Look, if y'all don't bow down, man, we've got so many arrows it'll block out the sun, and they're gonna rain hell on you. So just surrender and bow down." That's because Elam was specializing in the bow. That was one of their main weapons, and that's why the Most High said He's gonna break the bow of Elam. Right. So when we see these aerial weapons that get used, man. That's why America has laid down the sanctions on Iran for so long, telling them and restricting them from nuclear power and all of that, because they know the dangers of them having getting their hands on aerial weapons. It could be a problem for Israel, not us, but the ones living in our land, because we know that they've got a long-standing beef. It could be a problem for America and its constituents in those areas. So they've been trying to shut them down, but now they've broken sanctions. They've lined up with their little Edomite handlers and controllers, which is Putin. You know, so they're all running for cover under various Edomite factions, because Esau is the end of the world, meaning what? Esau controls the world. Doesn't matter. He's got a beast system that's lined up. He's got multiple heads going on, and doesn't matter whether they're Russian, French, German, Ukrainian, Slovakian, um, uh, English, American. They're all the same, and they all work with the same hate and vitriol for the children of Israel. They all have and operate under the same banner of pride and ego. They all want to rule in their own means, and they'll do whatever it takes to do so. So don't be mistaken when it comes down to seeing exactly what is going on with the children of Israel. I mean, what's going on with Esau, and when we see what's happening with these other nations, right? So Elam, which is in modern day Iran now they're co-opting with um, Moab in order to create um, these drones that they're sending over to Russia. Now, getting back over here in Judith, and we've seen this even in Ezekiel 25, and I've highlighted this a few times. Moab and Ammon, man, they cannot operate without their white zaddy, Esau. This is why Moab is out here making nice, making their choice in regards to who are they going to serve. They're going to continue serving and being the greatest importers of wealth via America. Everything that comes from China, man, from the technology, from the cars, you know, they've set up shop over here. Find me a state that doesn't have a Chinatown. They've incorporated their food and everything else over here. They jumped on over here, man. They're taking advantage of the children of Israel, all at the hands of them making sure that they play nice with white zaddy. Look at this in Judith chapter 7 and verse. Let's start at verse. We'll just start at verse 8. All right. So it says, and then came unto him all the chief of the children of who? Esau. Okay. And who else was with him? And all the governors of the people of Moab and the captains of the seacoast, and said, let our Lord overthrow in thine army. So they're going, and dealing with Holofernes, which was the Assyrian, ruler at the time, and they're strategizing about making war with the children of Israel. So who do they consult with? Some of the nemesises of Israel, Esau, Moab. They come and now they're reporting to their Lord. This also lets you know that the children of Esau was not in power at this time. Esau did not come into power in a global perspective until the 3rd century BC. I'm talking about Alexander the Freak, right? 333 BC. That's when he came into power. Other than that, man, he was subservient to many of the other nations. So let's read it again. Then came unto him all the chief of the children of Israel, and all the governors of the people of Moab, and the captains of the seacoast, and said, let our Lord hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains. So they're giving us strategic ways and how they can go against the children of Israel. Who's the ones that come up against us? Esau, as usual, and Moab, coming against us, giving intel to our enemies in regards to how to overthrow us. So there's one example of the relationship between Esau and Moab and them constantly being around each other, working together in cahoots. Here we go again in Ezekiel 25, verse 8. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, because that Moab and Seir, Mount Seir, that's Esau, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from the cities from his cities which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Shemath, Baal Meon, and Kirithaim, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. So Moab, Ammon, Esau, all being thorns in the side of Judah, all being thorns in the side of Israel, always operating together, conspiring against our people, conspiring together for world dominance, kissing up on whatever world power is in effect at the time to try to secure their lot in the world. Nothing's changed. So now China is working with Iran to go who? Give obeisance to white zaddy Russia. Right? So Moab is always having to choose what Edomite they're going to serve. They can put on the front publicly and act like they're out here ruling and, calling shots in the earth and all of that, man, but they do nothing without the approval of the so-called white man. If China was really that bad and that big, they'd have been rolled on America. They can't do it. They're tiptoeing around. We just seen a couple weeks ago, they got the spies over here. They doing little stuff. They sending little spy balloons. They setting up fake police stations in New York. They got disguised tourists trying to infiltrate Alaskan military bases. They've got they set up shop over there. They made nice with Cuba so that they can go get the little spy base set up over there. They're tiptoeing around. They won't boldly confront America because they can't. Not without the help of big bad Russia. That ain't happening. They need Esau, right? So this is why China is helping Russia. All right, so let's continue. Cuba, Iran presidents meet in Havana, vow to confront Yankee imperialism. Oh, really? So Iran now is out here making even more headway. Now that they said, man, the hell with them sanctions, we're doing what we want to do. We're getting our economy back on track. We're trying to link up with, we made peace with Saudi Arabia. We made peace with Syria. The wild men of the desert, man, the Arabs, they're all trying to come together as well. So it's ironic that we're seeing all of these nations, man, aligning themselves up with who their allies are. They're making it public and they're not hiding that everybody's trying to come against quote unquote Yankee imperialism. So Cuba, as beat down as Cuba is, they're constantly entertaining anybody that'll come over there and help them out. Because America's been having them cut off for so damn long. You see them cars in Cuba, man, they still riding cars like it's 1955. Let alone economically still distraught. That's why they constantly hitting them banana boats, man, trying to get on over here. Because Cuba is shut down. But when China comes over there, offers them some money and saying, here, we'll give you $5 trillion or $5 billion. I forgot which one it was. To allow them to go set up some spy bases, Cuba said, come on over. Now Iran is going over there. And that's the closest proximity. If we look at a map, if we look on a map, this is why it was such a threat to, America. Look at this. It's a better one. This is why it was such a threat to the Americans back in the 50s, in the 60s with the Cold War, is because, well, they were threatened that Russia was trying to set up military bases here. And so much close proximity that right here is the boot of Florida, right? This Miami right here. Imagine all you got to do is line up some military bases of Iran and China down here and Russia down here. It's a stone's throw away from the U.S. This is why Cuba is such a threat as far as military positioning. and all of the nations are trying to get over there and play nice and utilize uh, the naive nature of the Cubans over there to say, look, you ain't got nothing over here, man. We'll give you some money to take care of yourselves. And we know that a lot of the rulership in Cuba is being corrupted. So when it comes down to it, a lot of them is taking the money, man, and the people still starving. See, look at this one. Cuba, and you got the Gulf of Mexico. They can go hit Louisiana. They can hit San Antonio. You got down here is Mexico, but Florida, immediate threat, right? So this is why they're all trying to cozy up to Cuba, cozying up to Venezuela. Mexico's even came out and turned their back on America. So the nations are all trying to get close. All right. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi met with Cuban counterpart Miguel Diaz-Canel on Thursday, his last stop on a three-nation Latin American tour aimed at shoring up support among Latin American allies saddled like Iran by U.S. sanctions. So all of the nations that are sanctioned, just like Iran, they're running around saying, well, you know what? I'm saying F America. What do you say? Venezuela, Cuba, we've been saying F America. What do you want to do? I think we should come together. Now they're all trying to line themselves up, right? Raisi told reporters at a trade forum in Havana early on Thursday that Cuba and Iran will seek opportunities to work together in electricity generation, biotechnology, and mining, among other areas. Among other areas. I wonder what those other areas are. I'm sure it ain't just about electricity and biotechnology and mining. Think it's got anything to do with military, with war? Think about it. That's the climate. That's the spirit that we're in right now. Let's continue. Nuclear arms spending. Arsenals swell as global tensions grow. Well, look at that. Look at that. This is what I was mentioning earlier. That the nations now are spending more money on nuclear arms than ever. Why are they all concerned about dealing with nuclear weapons? That's the question. So let's look at 2 Peter 3. Because contrary to what the damn LGBTQ plus HIV community has compromised and taken the rainbow, which was the covenant that the Most High made with the earth, that he would not destroy it again by fire. But the scriptures let us know that he wouldn't destroy this earth by fire. By water. Shalaki, by water. But the scriptures later said that the Most High said he wouldn't destroy this earth by water, but by fire in the next go round. Now, we know that let's look here in 2 Peter 3, and let's read 10. Well, we're gonna start at 8 and we'll read down. All right. So verse 8 says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So we see the time frame of it. And I believe it's in Hosea. The Most High said that after 2 days he'll redeem his people. That's where you get that 2000, that year 2000 prophecy that was coming out back in the days that the Christians loved to mock Israel about. But let's be clear. Everybody that was in the truth in Israel in that time frame did not believe that the year 2000 was the end. There was a lot that did. That was a heavy prophecy that was coming up out of New York. And some believed in it out here as well. Back in 2000, to my knowledge, it was only a handful of camps. There was maybe about, I'm going out on a limb, 4 or 5 that I was aware of. I know ISUPK was around for sure. You had House of David. You had 12 tribes. You had Sons of Jacob. And ISUPK had a branch out here that was called Shield of Wisdom. That's 5. Outside of that, I'm not too sure. I'm not saying that there wasn't any other camps, but I said, to my knowledge, those are the only camps that were of prominence that I knew of. And we were, I was a member of Sons of Jacob. But at that time, that was a heavy prophecy coming out. Oh, year 2000 is over, and there was brothers on both coasts and in the middle that was swearing up and down. That was it. Yahweh Shai is coming back. And then you still had Esau pushing out there the Y2K uh, scandal, that all the computer systems was only programmed to go up to 1999. And after that, everything was going to shut down. There's going to be a blackout and this, that, and the third. And lo and behold, when everybody woke up January 1st, 2000, and nothing had changed outside of the fact that you had some that was seriously disappointed. Some Jakes pulled all-nighters, didn't go to sleep. I heard rumors of brothers standing on roofs, waiting to be delivered. Didn't happen. Because the scripture says after 2,000 years in Hosea. It didn't say in 2,000 years, right? It said after 2 days is when the judgment will happen. So let me grab that too. Wasn't even intending on going there, but Hosea 2, right? Hosea 6, 1 and 2, it says, "Come and let us return unto Yahweh. For he hath torn and he will heal us. He hath smitten and he will bind us up." So the prophecy was to be fulfilled in regards to the Most High afflicting us, hitting us with the curses, tearing us, and healing us through his word, through his repentance, and allowing us to be smitten and being bound back up, right? Verse 2, it says, "And after 2 days, he'll revive us." So many in the interpretation was saying that, well, 1,000 years is like 2 days, is 2,000. That's when we're going to get healed and we're going to be revived and, we're out of here. Didn't continue reading where it says, "In the third day, he'll raise us up and we shall live in his sight." So that doesn't mean in the year 3,000. After 2 days, meaning after 2,000 years, we're beginning the third day already. You understand? So anytime after 2000, we're already in the third day. This is how we're rising up into understanding that we're in the third day right now. It wasn't an exact moment. That's why it's dangerous to go out there and try to proclaim when the end is. Can't do that. So getting back, it says, verse 8, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness." And that's what happened too. Not only did you have a great falling away of brothers and sisters that lost faith in that particular failed prophecy, or lack of understanding, I should say, of the prophecy. So you had some that fell away from that. And then you had some that saying, well, when is it? I'm going to stick around. It's 2001, 2002, 2003. Still ain't nothing. You know what? I'm going back into the world. Oh, you know what? This other little doctrine tickled my fancy, man. Maybe the Bible isn't everything that we need. Maybe we need a little bit more. The Bible and this, or the Bible and that. Those type of doctrines start floating around. People started losing faith. So you had a little lull in regards to the growth and the expansion of Israel at that time. But the Most High said, you can't count man as slackness. And then lo and behold, here comes, and what is it, 2005, 2006, YouTube comes around. And now brothers is out there utilizing the internet to spread the word. The grassroots things that brothers was doing carried us for so long. But then the Most High gave us a boost in regards to broadcasting and putting the word out there via the internet, as wicked as it can be, but at the same time, it's still a gift that has now brought us to where we're at right now with, innumerable amount of camps to count. Israel waking up like wildfire. I was just in the store last week, and a brother was behind me, and he was like, "Oh, you said you an Israelite?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You heard about the Israelites?" And he's like, "Yeah. I'm kind of familiar." And I said, "Oh, okay." He said, yeah, because I seen, the things on your shirt. What I said, yeah, these are fringes, remind us about the law or whatnot. And I said, well, what faith for you? And they just finished me ringing me up. The sister's like, okay, let's do this exchange. And I'm like, let me finish this conversation with the brother real quick. So nonetheless, it was just the fact of being recognized. And he wasn't in the truth, but he knew of the truth. He had been kind of, I guess, looking on the side. So, I asked him what his faith was. He said, he don't subscribe to no religion. And I said, well, we're not a religion. It's a nation, man. And he asked me how long I've been in the truth or whatnot. So we had a brief little conversation, and then I had to cut out. I just told the brother, man, shalom, most high, which I didn't have any business cards on me at the time, but just the fact of being recognized um, is a big thing now. Back in the days, man, that wasn't going down. That you was gonna bump into anybody familiar with the doctrine, let alone in the truth, unless we was just out on the streets, um, visibly seen. But just in the day to day, wasn't like that. But it says the Lord is not slack concerning his promises. Some men count slackness. So some men may count slackness and look to say, well, we got plenty of time, still running around and back in the world saying I'm an Israelite. Oh yeah, I know, I know the truth. I was in it for 10 years, man. I just as a backup in the event that the SHTF happens, they can try to fall back and say, yeah, Lord, don't you remember me? I cast out many devils in your name. I taught, I did all of that. Only for Yahweh to say, depart from me. I never knew you. Because they counted slackness and they fell off and disappeared. But in the back of their mind, oh yeah, I'm still with it. I'm still with it. No, you didn't endure to the end. You didn't maintain all the way. You let your candle blow out, but you had a little match in your back pocket, figuring I can strike it and light this thing up and still act like I've been holding for it. I'm still the virgin with the oil. No, it don't work that way. It says, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with what? Fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So we know that there's going to be fervent heat, hot heat that's going to be taking place in the judgment of the world, right? So this is why we're seeing not only is it going to come from the missiles and the bombs or whatnot, but the chariots. Isaiah 66 and reading verse 15. It says, for behold, the Most High will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. So I covered a few scriptures about the chariots last week. Here's another one. The impending coming of the Lord, he said he's coming with fire. So no longer is it going to be water, but fire this time. And his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Most High plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. See, so fire is going to be the impending judgment that's going to befall upon this earth, right? This is why we're seeing the stockpiling of nuclear arms, because fire is going to be part of the judgment. Fire is what's going to be raining on this earth. The chariots is going to be bringing it as well. That's going to be the ultimate purging. But prior to that, there's going to be fire and flames, loud sounds coming from the nations. See, and this is why we're seeing them stockpiling up. Nuclear arms spending and arsenals swell as global tensions grow. So we wasn't reading these same type of stories 10, 15 years ago. We were still holding up the signs America's going to be destroyed and all that other stuff. And people was like, you crazy. Ain't nothing going to happen to America. You guys don't like America, get out of here, leave. Now all of a sudden people are starting to scratch their head and they're reading these headlines and they're like, oh, shoot. Those crazy guys that we should say were dressed like Power Rangers and genies and all that other stuff on the streets. Those guys actually were onto something. Well, now they want to negotiate and say, yeah, you guys, we know that there were brown and dark skinned Jews. Yeah, you guys are part of the. We're all together. No, we're not all together. I mean, stop trying to negotiate and stop trying to slide in and act like you're making concessions for us. No, we ain't conceding to nothing. It's been us from the beginning, gonna be us until the end. We're the people. Period. The greatest act of stolen identity was done to the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics. Man, forget about whatever uh, um, what's the name? Forget about whatever American Express is saying, what their biggest identity theft case is. Forget about what Visa and MasterCard is talking about. No, the greatest identity theft, man, is what happened to our people. Period. All right, let's continue. So the world's non-nuclear armed states jointly spent 82.9 billion on their arsenals last year. See, the nations they don't give a damn if they people starving in the streets, homeless. You know, everybody's thinking about how we're going to arm up and defend our state, our countries. They could be self-imploding and everything else, but they said, well, last thing, if all else fails, we're still going to have a country to come back home to. We can work on the civil and the moral structure later, but we're going to be spending 1 billion on their arsenals last year, with the United States accounting for International Peace Research Institute. Meanwhile, released a report showing that the total number of nuclear warheads held by Britain, China, France, India, Israel, North Korea, Pakistan, Russia, and the United States. So look at these countries. These are all the ones that got nukes. Britain, China, France, India, Israel, North Korea, Pakistan, Russia, and the United States. Was down to 12,512 at the outset of this year from 12,710 at the start of 2022. They've been trying to campaign to get them to destroy the nukes. So they got a little bit, but now they're back buying up more. Okay. It says, while some of that included older warheads scheduled to be dismantled, SIPRI said that 9,576 were in, quote, military stockpiles for potential use, 86 more than a year earlier. And really, you only need a handful to destroy the earth. You don't need thousands. Russia's got a bomb right now, man, that can just destroy all of France, the whole country. That Satan II missile, all it takes is one, and the whole country gone. And then we ain't even talking about the nuclear fallout and the damage that it does to the environment and the earth after that. So put two and two together. Let's continue. Look at it. Kim Jong-un vows to, quote, hold hands. See that? Kim Jong-un, North Korean leader, vows to hold hands with his wife zaddy. Didn't we just read that? Kim Jong-un vows to hold hands with Putin and offers, quote, full support and solidarity with Russia and its invasion of Ukraine. See, this little Moabite man, he don't give a damn. You know, while Xi Jinping over there in China, he's tiptoeing around, he's been open in regards to his alliances with Russia, but he hasn't said he outright supports Russia's invasion of Ukraine, right? But Kim Jong-un said, man, I'm coming clean. I want in. So he's giving his full support, right? So there's a relationship again between Moab and Esau, right? North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has promised to, quote, hold hands with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a bid to continue strengthening relations between the two nations. In a message marking Russia's National Day, the North Korean leader gave his full support and solidarity to Putin's decision to invade Ukraine. So there's Moab out there holding hands with his wife Zaddy, can't let go, and he's standing on. I'm riding with Russia on this one, and we see they're out there doing missile tests and practicing their warfare all the damn time. So all you got, he's like a starving dog, man. All you got to do is throw a little steak out there, man. He's going. So he's waiting for Putin to make a move so he can go ahead on and get busy. Let's continue. U.S. deploys nuclear submarine with guided missiles after North Korean missile test. So look how the U.S. responds. They're deploying nuclear subs with guided missile systems after North Korea is continuing running their missile tests. Now they came out openly and said we're holding hands with Russia. So the U.S. uh, counters that with deploying some nuclear subs. So we'll see where and if that goes anywhere. But the fact that they're posturing and utilizing nuclear technologies uh, to be the first form of defense should tell us something. Look at this. Putin says F them in response to NATO member countries' nuclear weapons requests. So this is where the rhetoric is going now. It's not diplomatic anymore. They ain't even talking like, real politicians and leaders of superpowers. Putin's back in the streets with it. NATO's telling him that maybe you might want to calm down, man, and slow down on the nuke talk and all of that other stuff. He said, man, F you. Now, if you got words like that, you tell me where we're at in the geopolitical system of warfare. Russian leader Vladimir Putin blasted NATO in a recent appearance at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, saying, F them to the organization as he boasted about nuclear missiles. You bring up NATO, oh, those are the quote unquote ops, as the youngsters say. F them. So where is this going? Russian President Vladimir Putin blasted NATO and said, F them, right? Despot Putin was seemingly furious at the request to reduce the number of nuclear warheads Russia currently has, which is more than NATO's members countries. Did you hear that? NATO tried to regulate and check Putin about reducing his number of nuclear warheads. He says, man, F y'all, because he's got more nukes than all of NATO's member countries. Now, mind you, there's like 30 countries in NATO. He's got more nukes than all of them. And they're talking about maybe can you reduce some of those, like deactivate and destroy some of them? He says his response is F you. That lets you know where we're at, y'all. That's where we at with it. Let's continue. Look at this. Pro-Trump pastor, a pastor for Donald Trump, suggests Christians should be suicide bombers. So this is the narrative that the press will put out there, man. And this is how they're going to try to corner anybody that's got a Bible that stands on the laws. They let Esau go out there and set the tone. But the ones who they're considering quote unquote extremists are brothers and sisters like you and I, who hold fast to the laws and the commandments of the Most High, who are anti, transformers, anti-sodomite, anti-heathen, interracial marriages, so forth and so on. All of those things is going to be held in accountability. When Jeremiah was told that the prophets before us prophesied against many countries and nations, against the evils and whatnot, those were considered extremist views. Those are acts of sedition. That's what they charged Yahushua with before they crucified him. Speaking against and coming against your government becomes an issue. But they let little, Edomite so-called pastor who's pro-Trump put out some foolishness talking about Christians should be suicide bombers and be prepared to die for your faith. Listen to this. A Christian pastor who supports Donald Trump recently delivered a sermon urging Christians to strengthen their passion and suggested they should be willing to die for their faith. Regeneration Nashville pastor Kent Christmas, what a name, has often spoken favorably of Trump, who is running his third presidential campaign and is a clear front runner among a crowded field of GOP candidates. And that's what also we see is the folly that goes on with that. Donald Trump, he's got 37 indictment counts. He's facing over 100 years. And he's still like, so what? I'm still running for president 2024. I don't know nobody who will be facing felony counts, rape charges and all kind of other madness over 100 years, and you worried about saying, well, I'm gonna be the next president. You too busy trying to get up lawyer fees, trying to make sure that you got a bond. I mean, I don't even understand. Did he get released on bond? I didn't do too much research about how he's still back out on the streets, but I don't know too many, man. It's got 37 counts, some of which I believe are felonies, four of which held 20 years. What was his bond? Did anybody ever see a mugshot? Man, put it in the chat. Let me just see, because I haven't really paid attention to it. Anybody seen that? Help me out. Anybody see the mugshot for Chump? So far, I don't see nothing. Did anybody find out that if he had a bail, how he got bailed out and he's back riding in the streets, dipping, went out to dinner, right after, still campaigning, as if he's not facing no charges at all? Did anybody see that? Because I sure haven't. If y'all see it, man, put it in the chat. Help me out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off. But I don't recall. I don't recall seeing that. But he's out here rolling, man. And he's the leading candidate now for 2024. He's acting like ain't nothing gonna stop him, man. So either this is all just political theater and fake as hell, or he's just gonna mess around and get he's gonna get locked up. One of the two. But continued on, it says, in the last Sunday sermon at this Pentecostal church in Tennessee, Christmas said the Muslim faith has become so successful because its followers are willing to die for their beliefs. So, they later on made the analogies of, Muslims and being suicide bombers, and, Pastor Christmas, he's saying, man, Christians should be doing the same. So, when a brother says he's willing to die for this truth, now that you're going to be looked at as an extremist. Thanks to Pastor Christmas. Good Lord. Let's continue. Y'all seen this, right? Synthetic human embryos created in groundbreaking advance. Groundbreaking, huh? Groundbreaking. In Esau's bid to try to be like the Most High, right? Here he is trying to declare himself to be what? A creator. When he declared that in the Isaiah 14, let's look at that in Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14, I believe it's verse 13. Okay. Verse 13 and verse 14. It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Speaking about the so-called white man, his rulership in the north, here in North America, and being the chief, the great horde that's riding the beast. He's trying to descend and ascend into heaven with his satellite technologies, his SpaceX, all these other, his aspirations to sit on the high thrones of rulership. What is his ultimate goal? Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Well, what does he mean when he says, I will be like the Most High? His God complex goes well and beyond the Call of Duty, man. This dude, look at Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator. That when Esau makes these particular forms of technology, talking about creating human embryos, as in the words of the old comedian Robin Harris, test tube babies. Y'all remember that? Do you remember Robin Harris, man? Or am I that old? That's the brother that played Kid's dad from House Party. Real ones know who Robin Harris is. I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. I'm gonna say that, man. Real ones know who Robin Harris was. All right, Bebe's kids, remember him? Yeah, that guy. This is what Esau's out here creating, quote unquote, test tube babies. And the reports are saying, Oh, this is not an embryo. This is just a cell, and don't worry, everything's fine. But we know when he speaketh fair, believe him not, man. Anything that the so-called white man exposes, best believe that that's just the surface level of what he wants us to know. He's really 10 steps beyond what he shows. He don't never let you know in lockstep of what his plans are and what he's doing as he's doing it, as he's coming up with it. He's not like, here, this is where I'm at right now. Him, come check this out. Okay, I'm gonna this is where we're at now. This is point B. Come on, everybody watch. No. By the time he shows us point A, he's already at like P elemental, he's down them there X, Y, and Z. Many times it's already completed. See, look at it. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Key point is, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. So the Most High is the creator of life, right? He's the one who created the sun, moon, stars, the ordinances of the earth. He's the one that created the intelligences of our bodies and our biologies, man. It's no wonder how our bodies are in sync with the things that the earth provides. Many of the elements that's in the earth are found within our bodies. Why does the earth produce things that are only can only help and impact our health and substance? These are all things that the Most High. This is what you call in scientific terms spontaneous generation, where life supports life, and that's the element that goes down in science and biology. That's one way that you can cut the Big Bang, is because in their own terminology of spontaneous generation, you've got elements that are created that were only made to sustain life. Now, how can you have anything that sustains life if it just was a random explosions and all of the other thing, man? Oh, we came from salamanders and apes and monkeys, and it's all foolishness, and it has nothing to do with what the Most High established as far as creation. But here the so-called white man he's running around here trying to say, I'm a creator now, because look, I can create human embryos, I can create life. Oh, guess what? God made a mistake when he misgendered you. I can fix it. Don't worry about it. Oh, you want to you hold on. See, they got this technology called CRISPR. Designer babies. Hold on. Designer. See, look at this. This is why I said, man, the white man, he's a damn devil. Because here in one instance, he's talking about with this technology of synthetic human embryos created in groundbreaking advance. Breakthrough could aid research into genetic disorders, but raises serious ethical and legal issues. So they try to say, oh, we just did this or that. We can try to figure out why, women are having miscarriages and this, that, and the third. No, no, no. This dude is really out here trying to create life, clones, and all that other stuff, man. And leave it to Elon Musk. He says that cyborgs is already amongst us. So, invest in that statement as much as you want. I'll show you that in a second. Ethics of Designer Babies, the Embryo Project Encyclopedia. A designer baby is a baby genetically engineered in vitro for especially selective traits which can vary from lower disease risk to gender selection. Embryo.asu.edu. This is a peer-reviewed website. The Embryo Project Encyclopedia. See? Reproductive rights, genetic engineering, and eugenics. See, they're already making designer babies, man. Where you can go out there, you can select the eye color, physical traits, athletic backgrounds, intelligence. Um, it ain't just no needing what do they call them? You get a woman that carries a baby for somebody, a surrogate. It's beyond that. It's beyond cryogenically freezing eggs and waiting for a time when a woman's ready to have her kids. So here, freeze my eggs, and then by the time I'm 35, I'm ready to have the kids. And then you can go ahead and fertilize them with the man's sperm. No, this is beyond that, man. See, here they go. Designer babies could be just 2 years away, and this was in 2019. So here we are in 2023. Here they talking about, oh, guess what we just found out? We can create embryos, and they've been on this. They've been on doing this stuff, man. So best believe this guy is already doing this stuff. Look at Elon. Yeah, he talking about we're already cyborg. Elon said we're already cyborgs as machines. I mean, this guy is all over the place. But this is where you lead up into the transhumanist movements, part man, part machine, GMO technologies in regards to human anatomies and things of that nature. I mean, if he's already telling somebody, man, telling a woman, I can make you a rod so you can be more like a man. How about that? Skin grafting. I mean, this is why you see so much experimentation going on with, the cosmetic surgeries that women are going through right now. There's just two more women just died, man. The brother DC Young Fly, his wife just died going to get a mommy makeover in Florida, trying to get her body back or whatever she's trying to do. Then there's two other women that just died in Mexico trying to get some body surgery. Uh, Consider woman dies 3 months after getting plastic surgery in Mexico. Uh, Woman dead, two hospitalized after plastic surgery in Mexico. See, this is why the so-called white man, he's out there putting out there, hey, I'm a god. I can create, I can do these things. So, oh, you want a flat belly here, I can do this. You want a big butt, I can do this. You want bigger breasts, I can do this. You want different color eyes, I can do that. I can, implant this, swell up that, weight loss pill, magic, everything. These are all the things. And this is why, we got to look at some of the technologies and the events of looking back during the time of our Exodus in Egypt. Remember with the plagues, the Egyptian magicians were able to copy some of the things that Moses did. Remember when Aaron struck down the snake, made the snake into a staff, and their snake ate up the snakes of the Egyptian magicians, turning the water into wine. But they got to a point that there were some things they could not do. It had to have been of the Most High, and that's when Pharaoh knew it was going to be a problem. But it just lets you know, man, that the wickedness and of the left hand sides of knowledge does exist. The witchcrafts, those things exist, and Esau is heavily involved in it. Heavily involved in it. So synthetic human embryos created in a groundbreaking advance. Scientists have created synthetic human embryos using stem cells in a groundbreaking advance that sidesteps the need for eggs or sperm. Scientists say these model embryos, which resemble those in the earliest stages of human development, could provide a crucial window on the impact of genetic disorders and the biological uses of recurrent miscarriage. So here he is saying we're trying to develop technology so that we can stop miscarriages from happening. Yeah, don't worry about it, honey. You can't have seed. Guess what? We can create a new baby right inside you. Just tell her what you want. Designer baby, man. Go ahead and pick off the menu. We'll slap the egg up in you and the embryo. You carry him and it's yours. It's gonna cost you a life. It's gonna cost you leg and limb, but you can finally have that baby you was never able to have. And he's gonna be looked at as, oh, the white man's technology is so great. The miraculous technology that he comes up with, lab grown babies as amongst us. And he's lying out there talking about, oh no, these are just cells. There's not an embryo. But why are they saying synthetic human embryos? If you see the video report of the I believe there's one guy, I think he's either a reporter, he's a doctor that's involved in this technology. He's saying, well, it's just cells, it's not embryos. So yeah, calm down. No, we're not doing anything. But meanwhile, the headlines are all saying that it's synthetic embryo. They are. So when he speaketh fair, don't believe him. Let's continue. Waterworld, incredible plan for real life Noah's Ark, floating city that would be home to 40,000 people in the apocalypse. See, there we go. More talk about the apocalypse. Why are they not referencing something from out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead on how to survive? Why are they not referencing something from the Quran? How come they're not, going back into, ancient Buddhist philosophies about the apocalypse? And no, they're going back to the basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible. That's why our book, man, stands alone, man. All the nations and everybody know has respect for this word of ours. They saying, well, we go. Japan talking about making a floating ark, a floating city that's supposed to withstand the apocalypse. So they all know. The one thing that we do know, the nations are all talking about the end of the world. But the Negro and the Hispanic running around here talking about ain't no end of the world, man. Pass the blunt. A woman running around here talking about if a nigga can't buy me no damn shoes in a bag, I don't want them. Meanwhile, all the damn earth is talking about how the world is getting ready to end, and they worried about some damn shoes or a bag. You understand what I'm saying? You're wondering if your lace front is on straight. I mean, get it together. See, they're out here making damn arcs, trying to prepare for the end, and our people's running around here just completely ignorant. Look at this. I'll play the video for you.
Welcome to our show, Future Trends. Today, the future of a rich texture, Dogon City.
Remember, I said future trends, and I gave you all the terminology regarding futurists. These are the think tanks that the nations and the heathens and Esau in particular talk about future. This is what they're considering prophecy. This is why you talk about when we hear about in Revelation about the false prophet. That's Esau, man. His technology, that's him. Futurist thinkings about what he prophetically believes is going to happen in the future and how he's going to create the outcomes.
City. Hello and welcome to our video today. We're living in a time where architectural visions and concepts are becoming bolder and more fascinating. One such impressive idea is Dogon City, a planned floating city for 40,000 people. Developed by the Japanese architectural firm N-Art, this city is intended to not just be a habitable space on water, but also serve as a health center. Dogon City is envisioned as a future home for 10,000 permanent residents and 30,000 tourists, promising an exciting blend of fixed citizens and constantly changing tourists. Despite only being 4 kilometers in diameter, this floating city astonishingly offers a range of facilities including sports venues, education centers, medical facilities, and even opportunities for food production. This isn't just a habitable construct, but a fully functional city with the character of a sustainable village. A key aspect of Dogon City is the protection from the whims of nature. The city is encircled by an outer ring which shields it from storms and tsunamis. The buildings are placed inside this ring and thus largely protected from the environmental influences of the sea. The city also boasts an underground data center, which is naturally cooled by the surrounding seawater. The city administration and medical facilities are also mostly located below sea level. The heart of Dogon City, however, is the medical center. The city is intended to be a hotspot for medical and health tourism, and will house facilities for robot-assisted surgery and the analysis of blood and genes. The recovery of patients is promoted.
You see that? Robot-assisted surgeries, dealing with genes.
By using seawater thermal springs and marine products in their diet. The concept of Dogon City aims to be largely autonomous. The city is expected to produce around 7,000 tons of food annually and generate 22,265,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity. So far, Dogon City remains a concept still seeking investors. However, should a suitable partner be found, it could feasibly be operational by 2030. The vision of Dogon City shows us what a sustainable, autonomous, and health-oriented future could look like, and we look forward to tracking the progress of this exciting project. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy...
See, the heathen thinking they're trying to get up out of here. They think they're going to try to make some little floating oasis to escape judgment. And they're looking for investors right now so they can get it done by 2030. Because isn't that the whole plan of the World Economic Forum and Build Back Better and slow Biden and the rest of his cronies? By 2030, they plan on changing everything. China's talking about war by 2027. They're trying to create a little oasis to try to get away from everything. I mean, and that's so obvious that if that's where you're gonna be, you just an open target. Like, what are this the heathen though? This is in their minds. You understand? This is what they thinking they're gonna Dogan City. Stay tuned.
Enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video.
So that's what's going on in their minds. So what's going on in our people's minds? That's the bigger thing. They're talking about the apocalypse. They're trying to create floating cities. They're trying to prepare for the incoming end. And our people is out here wondering about who knows whatever kind of folly's going on out there. So let's continue on. I'm gonna start breezing through, picking up the pace a little bit for time's sake. So Americans should prepare for cyber sabotage from Chinese hackers, a U.S. official warns. So we talked about this before. I'm gonna remind y'all again. The cyber polygon back in 2022 in July. They were already talking about, look, maybe 2021. I said 2022. Damn, time is flying. See, I thought it was last year. 2021. It's 2 years ago we talked about this. Prepping a cyber pandemic worldwide drill underway. This is July 9th, 2021. The cyber polygon was all based around what? Organizations get to test their level of resilience to cyber attacks as well as exchange best practices with global community. Read more on the Interpol supports cyber polygon. So the cyber polygon was a exercise and a meeting of the minds to test the global community's resistance against cyber attacks. And they was letting it be known, hint, hint, cyber attacks is coming. Are you ready? So how else what better way to test it outside of actually doing live drills? So this is why we've seen so many issues going on with the airlines having the issues going down. Amazon had outages, phone services having outages, and all this other stuff, right? So now we're seeing the onslaught of cyber attacks. We're starting to hear about more attacks on the overall energy grid, the sustained energy grid for the U.S., right? And the so-called EMP attack, electromagnetic pulse attack, that could take out the grid and send us back to the Stone Ages with no electricity, no power, no nothing. And they say if that happens, it's going to take over a year to build a backup system. So these are all things that, when you're in your prepper mind state is, well, what type of power situations do I have in the event that power goes out? Matter of fact, it was just a quick little blackout again last night. I experienced at my house. All the power went out, boom. And then it was back on at about 2 minutes. I know there was a power outage a couple weeks ago in Inglewood. So they're constantly tampering with the power. They're talking about in Texas, they expect a real strain on the grid down there this summer because of the heat. And they expected the energy demands to go up. Now remember when they had the energy demand go up and they had that winter storm a couple years ago, and people was blacked out and jacked up for over 7 days. And that was in the storm. So you're talking about food, hygiene, toilet systems, everything going down. That's what they're talking about. Texas pushing the grid this summer. Degrees up to 120 degrees, as they just had a damn tornado the other day. I mean, things is all out of whack right now. Tornado last week and hailstorms, and now they're talking about it's 120 degrees in some areas. Unbelievable. So let's continue. Americans should prepare for a cyber sabotage from Chinese hackers. Of course, there's always either Chinese or the Russians. Can't be nobody else. They have the boogeyman already lined up, right? Chinese hackers are all but certain to disrupt American critical infrastructure such as pipelines and railways in the event of a conflict with the United States, a senior cybersecurity official says. So, being that we already know, 2 years ago, Cyber Polygon, they was already talking about we got to test the resilience of everybody's cyber systems and cyber securities. We're going to be running drills and all this other stuff, and now it's blaming on the Chinese and the Russians, right? But let's continue. Look, U.S. Energy Department gets 2 ransom notices as Move It hack claims more victims. U.S. Department of Energy got ransom requests from the Russian-linked extortion group C10P at both its nuclear waste facility and scientific education facility that were recently hit in a global hacking campaign. A spokesperson said on Friday. So they're talking about the Russians now are hacking into the energy Department of Energy, and they're demanding ransoms, and the U.S. is refusing to pay. They're figuring we'll get it fixed. We ain't paying. So don't be surprised. That's why they're putting it out there. Oh, Texas, the grid is getting pushed. So let it just go down, or let them just go ahead and shut things off for people in Texas, because Texas is one of the rebel states that ain't with some of the things that the rest of their American counterparts are up to. Let them be the example of what it's like to be without power, and they can always say, well, hey, it wasn't us, the Russians did it. See, so hack attacks is rising. Look at it. U.S. spy agencies buy and sell huge amounts of data on Americans available online. So you got U.S. spy agencies buying and selling huge amounts of data, but meanwhile they're talking about, oh, it's the Chinese and it's the Russians that's hacking, trying to get your information and everything else. They're out here paying for this. That's what I'm saying. America can self-sabotage. And we know that they're no strangers to false flags. So why not utilize information intelligence gathering, utilizing, apps and technology that, everybody's so addicted to? When you sign over and you say, hey, yeah, I agree, to allow this app to have access to all my information just so I can go on there and make a little TikTok dance. Yeah, that's what's going on. U.S. spy agencies buy and sell huge amounts, selling as well, of data on Americans available online. Information on nearly every citizen is available, and they don't know it. Damning intelligence reports reveals. So, in regards to your Fourth Amendment and all of that, the illegal searches and seizures and, pulling you over and questioning you when they trying to get information from you. I wonder if this is covered under the Fourth Amendment, because clearly the U.S. don't have no problem buying and selling our information, and they say they can get information on everybody. So it doesn't really matter. It trips me out when you see, some of these cats on YouTube, man, they be talking about they off the grid with a YouTube channel. Really? Anybody that's off the grid, man, you ain't on no damn technology. You off the grid. That be tripping me out. Yeah, I'm completely off the grid. This is how I'm surviving. Yeah, my email is this, that, and the third. My account is here, and send a donation. If you understand what I'm saying, like that's the foolishness that people are believing, because that's what the internet brings. Everybody still wants a little bit of fame, a little vainglory, a little opportunity to show what you're doing. That's the allure that the internet brings in. So you can have this whole prepper mind state. But meanwhile, you're still utilizing the technology to let everybody know what you're doing. So how much are you really off the grid? That trips me out when I see that sometimes. But anyway, because Esau's letting it be known, information is available nearly on every citizen. So maybe not everybody. There's probably some elders out there who's like, man, I'm still using checks. I still buy stamps. I don't do no internet. Those types still got a rotary phone at home. Those are the ones that they still wondering, like, what's up with them? Why can't we get anything on them? And paid off their house. Who knows? But it's very hard to avoid the technology trap that Esau got, man. But he's utilizing information, buying and selling. Sales creating huge threat to privacy. New report commissioned by the Director of National Intelligence, Avra Hines, found there's little regulation of what is being sold and who's buying. So, information for sale. Can you trust your ears? AI voice scams rattle the U.S. So this is another thing with the deep fake technology and AI voices. Um, I don't know if some of y'all may have seen the videos now where they can redo songs. I think some who was it? Timberland, the producer, made a beat and he had an AI voice of Biggie rapping on it. I mean, you see the hologram technology with Tupac performing in the concerts and all that. These are the type of miracles and wonders that Esau is trying to put out there. So looking at this, it's talking about AI voice scams. This lady right here. She got a call from a scammer on the AI. All they need is a sample of your voice. Somebody call you the wrong number, you say hello. That's all they need. Now they download your voice into the whole little AI system, and they can make your whole voice into a rap. Could have you out there confessing your love for you a brother, you confessing your love for another man. I mean, this is it's out of control, man. That's why I was going to recommend. If you see me with any video of me dressed as a tranny or talking like I love men, deep fake, man. Get the hell away. But press pause, exit, get out of there because it's fake as hell. But this woman, man, she got a call with her daughter's voice saying, "Mom, help me, help me. They got me," and they wanted a ransom from her, and she immediately called back or called her daughter's phone, and her daughter answered and was like, "Nah, mom, that's not me. Like, where'd you get this?" And this is why she bringing it to Congress, because she's like, "Look, this AI voice and all this other stuff, man, is dangerous. Somebody got my daughter's voice. They were trying to ransom me for some money." And fortunately, she just didn't fall for the okie doke. She called her daughter, and the daughter answered the phone. But nonetheless, this is where it's headed. Fake voiceovers and all that. And Obama's talking about he wants to create a digital footprint to help avoid the fakes. So Esau lets this technology out there, and then they come back with a whole solution that's just meant to constrain, track, and trace everybody even more. And why the hell Obama's even got a damn voice in this is beyond me. See, look at this. Obama suggests digital footprints to counter misinformation, so we know what's true and what's not true. This guy ain't had a political voice, shouldn't have a political voice since what, 2016? And here he is back telling everybody, hey, guess what? We need to go ahead on and create digital fingerprints on everybody, so we know and can watermark and stamp what's real and what isn't, so we can kind of find out who's fake and who isn't. That's just another way to how we can track and trace and introduce digital IDs and get everybody in one system bank. The wildfires in Canada, they're saying they could last all summer. So New York, Detroit, down south, prepare for more hellish weather. I mean, air quality this summer as it gets more hot and humid, and the smoke is coming down and really going to be causing a lot of respiratory issues. So they're saying, and Canada ain't even hit its summer yet. So that's why they're saying it could last all summer, because they ain't even really got to their hot points yet. I think they said their summer really begins at the latter end of June, early July. So this is why they're saying them fires up there could continue on. So we'll see what happens with that as they're talking about this climate change. We just got to talk about how the weather's all over the place. Climate change is my ass. Pardon my French. Well, I ain't even French. That's in the scriptures. Anyway, look at destructive tornado strikes Texas panhandle town. So tornado hitting Texas. Oh, but it's global warming though, right? 3 dead from that. Look at it. Proposed California bill. Now listen to this, y'all. And Robin, you fall back. Fall back. There's my sister Robin out there in Pensacola. Every time I talk about California's terrible, she's like, you need to just come on out here to Florida. Get on out here. It's over with out there. And I'm like, nah, not yet. Most I got me still here. I ain't leaving. It's hell all over the place. But California, man, is just getting more and more ridiculous by the minute. Look at this. Proposed California bill would brand parents abusive if they refuse to affirm their transgender children's identity and let social workers take youngsters into care. Did you hear that? This brings a whole nother light to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. I mean, we know about from the slave trade, auction blocks, families being separated, sons and daughters being stripped from their mother's hands and their father's arms, being sold to, the mothers in Virginia, fathers going down to South Carolina, the sons going to Georgia, the daughters going to Tennessee. You dig what I'm saying? Now you're looking at it from a perspective of CPS, adoption agencies, youth authorities. You follow? Now they're imposing, saying that if you don't, as a parent, if you don't comply and acknowledge and affirm your son or daughter being transgender, and let the social workers come in and take your kids and revoke your custody if you don't comply with the bulls. Let me start. If you don't comply with the bull-ish. I'm going to read that again. There's a proposed bill on the table for parents, and you will be considered abusive if you don't say and don't affirm that your child is transgender. You had a son and you say, no, you're always going to be my son. I don't give a damn. No matter how much, they've tampered with your genes, how much the child psychologist is in your head, how confused you are trying to follow your friends no, you're always my son. That now, according to this proposed bill, will be considered abuse, and your son could be stripped from your arms, man. Assembly Bill 957 will classify not affirming a child's gender as, quote, abuse. State Rep. Lori Wilson said affirming a child's gender is, quote, in their best interest. I mean, is it in their best interest when you see these little LGBT groups infiltrating the school systems, monitoring their internet searches, recruiting them into these LGBTQ plus HIV groups and camps? Is it in their best interest to be influencing them with the books, the sexually charged and progressive books that's in the school systems and the libraries now? Is that in their best interest as well? Lori Wilson, damn demon. Parents could lose custody of their child if they do not affirm their gender. If you don't agree with the damn if you don't agree with the transformer movement with your children, man, they talking about through this bill taking your kids. That's being proposed here. And then if you try to leave and you say, well, the hell with California, they're trying to charge a damn exit tax. So if you want to leave, see, that's what I said. I got a lot to talk about. I ain't got enough time. But look, California exit tax and wealth tax, what it is and how it applies to you. They're talking about if you make a certain tax bracket, man, and you leave with that money, you taking it away from California, they're trying to tax you if you try to run. See? Meanwhile, if you stay and you got kids, they trying to make sure that you bow down to the system of the beast, man. Look at this. If passed, the law could see children pulled from their parents' homes if their family members have what the state deems anti-LGBTQ plus ideals. Let me read that one more time so that we know what time we're in. Because as everything passes from California and New York, everything comes from these particular coastal cities, and it comes and infiltrates into the rest. As California goes, so the rest of the country goes. As New York goes, so the rest of the country goes. That's why the only states that be putting up a fuss is like Tennessee, Texas, Florida, but for the most part, man, everybody else falls in line. If passed, the law could see children pulled from their parents' homes if their family members have what the state deems anti-LGBTQ plus ideals. That's where we at, y'all. Look at Biden marks LGBTQ plus Pride Month with a celebration on the White House South Lawn. China's over here assembling and getting drones together with Russia. North Korea is holding hands with Putin, saying we stand in solidarity, ready for war. They infiltrating, going over to Cuba and all that, and slow Biden's out there slow dancing with the trannies, man, and acting a fool on the White House lawn. This is your man. This is your boy, Slow Biden, as he just said in another speech the other day about gun control, talking about long live the queen. What queen? Unless he's talking about the great whore. Did y'all see that? Long live the queen, man. God save the queen. I guess he's talking about the great whore. See, Trump says long live the king, and no, that ain't what but Slow Biden said it first. God save the queen, man, in Connecticut. Maybe he's talking about the great whore. This dude's a damn idiot, man. I mean, he never fails to give me something to laugh about. But here he is. He's on the lawn in Pride Month, man, celebrating, turning up, right? While everything else is crashing down, man. All he's concerned about is, hanging out with his peoples. Let's continue on. This is a picture of the Great Western Forum. What used to be known as the Great Western Forum. I would drive by there the other day. Drive by there the other night, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh snap! They lighting up the forum with the damn rainbow LGBTQ standing in solidarity with the Transformers." This is the place for those who's out of state. This is where the Lakers of the 80s and the early 90s used to play before they went to Staples Center. This is where, they used to hold boxing matches there. The hockey team, the Kings, was playing there. This was a historic place in Inglewood. Now they're standing in solidarity with the Transformers. I had to take a picture of it. I said, look at this. Inglewood's turned out now, man. And right next door to that is the SoFi Stadium where the Rams and the Chargers play. And then 3-4 blocks from there, they're building a Clipper Stadium. So Inglewood is getting ready to be this grand utopia for, Babylon the Great, man. And then they got a damn casino that's right around the corner from here. So, I mean, and now they're showing you where all this stems from and where they standing. All right. So I just wanted to share that, man. The spirit of Sodom is all over the place. Look at it. Sony's new blockbuster Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is pulled from cinemas in more than a dozen Muslim majority countries because it features Protect Trans Kids poster. The poster was spotted in the character Gwen Stacy's bedroom above her door for a brief moment. Many countries, including the United Arab Emirates, will not release the movie. See, one thing the damn Muslims, I'll give it to them, that they took from us was the moral laws in regards to sexual, I'm trying to say it in a way that the YouTube algorithm don't pick it up, and you know what I'm saying. One thing they hold fast to is what the law says in regards to sexual relations with genders. Let's put it that way, right? So now, even with the new Spider-Verse movie, which is a cartoon, they've got innuendo in the movie with a poster talking about protect trans kids, as it's being insinuated that the character in the movie, not the main character, but one of the characters, whoever this character was in the bedroom, see Gwen Stacy, that she might be trans. So they leave it open. You understand? But again, this is supposed to be a kids movie, and I know adults watching it too. But Ishmael picked up on it and said, "Hell no, we ain't showing that here." So salute to Ishmael for standing up on that. Look, topless trans woman at the White House Pride event sparks outrage. This is the same one that Slow Biden was turning up on, and you can see in the video the tranny. He's got the video taking selfies with Slow Biden. Slow Biden, hanging out, doing it up with her, and then he gets a little too loose and goes topless right on the White House lawn. And this is what Slow Biden and the rest of America support, man. So I don't know if y'all seen the video or seen it, but yeah, he's out there, man. So let's continue on, man. I'm running short on time, so I'm gonna breeze through the last few. The moment Ecuadorian woman, 76, knocks on her coffin and comes back to life during her own funeral, hours after doctor declared her dead at the hospital. I mean, this is the type of inspiration that we see when we read about. For time's sake, I'm going to quote it, but we know, the story about Lazarus, right? And him being a friend of the Most High. I mean, a friend of Christ, and Mary and Martha, right? And he was pronounced dead. I think he was dead for 2 days, or 3 days, and Yahushua went and healed him and brought him back. See, now I gotta go there real quick. Let's see here. John 11. See, now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Yahushua heard that, he said, the sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of the Most High, that the Son of the Most High might be glorified thereby. So they told him that, hey, Lazarus, the brother of Mary, your friend, he's sick. And Yahushua said, man, he ain't going to die. But guess what? He's going to be made an example of to show the glory of the Most High through Yahushua. Right. So verse 6, it says now, verse 5. Now Yahushua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. And when he heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that, saith he to a disciple, let us go into Judea again. So that's how cold Yahushua was. Yahushua was, they tell him, they expecting him to jump up and run and go down there and see him. Yahushua was kicking it. He said, man, I'll be there in a couple of days. He ain't going to die. Relax. So Yahushua took 2 days. Then he told the disciples, man, mount up. We're going to go to Judea. We're going to go check out Lazarus. His disciples saying to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and now goest thou thither again? And Yahushua answered, are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. So Yahushua gave him that parable in regards to walking in the light, walking in the truth, and not being fearful of the dark, being ignorance and unrighteousness, in regards to them moving in their faith and going into Judea, where they were wanted men and being ran up out of there. So Yahushua said, man up, we still going. Right? Verse 11. These things said he, and after that he said unto them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. So that shows you in death, man, we only sleep. The spirit returns to the Most High, and then the Most High redistributes that spirit back on the earth when he sees fit. And that's Ecclesiastes 12, where it said the spirit returns to the Most High. Continuing on, it says, and then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep. See that? So when he sleep, he said he's speaking about him being dead. Then said Yahweh unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. So they was like, man, he's asleep. He's good. Like, why we got to go endanger ourselves going to Judea and he's over there taking a nap? He was like, man, listen, Lazarus is dead. We got to go check him. You know, verse 15. And you can only imagine just seeing the dialogue. You know, these are Jakes. How they talking to each other, right? Verse 15. And I'm glad for your sakes that I was not there to the intent ye believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, let us also go that we may die with him. Then when Yahushua came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off, and many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she had heard that Yahushua was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of the Most High will give it thee. Yahushua said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. So y'all can, read the rest. We know that Lazarus rose again after 4 days. But this just gives us and shows us the inspiration of the Spirit of the Most High, where a sister, she's Ecuadorian. This wasn't no Edomite that this happened to. It's a sister. She was pronounced dead, right? For hours. They were prepping her, getting ready to have her direct funeral. I guess in Ecuador, they don't do no 14 days or however long it takes you to get your money up to, prepare a plot and invite all your friends and all that. They tell everybody, call the friends and family. She done passed. We're going to go ahead and start prepping her for the funeral. So Sister 76, man, Bella Montoya was declared dead after suffering a cardiorespiratory arrest at a hospital in Ecuador Friday before her family found her moving in a casket. Her son said that she fell ill at her home and then rushed her to the hospital, where a doctor ruled her dead 3 hours after she was admitted. Montoya remains hospitalized at the same facility where another doctor gave her oxygen and intubated her. So that's just a confirming and inspiration of the Spirit, man. For the atheists and everybody, oh, once you're dead, there's no coming back, blah, 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 blah. Well, and, trying to dispute a Lazarus story, whatnot. It may not have been 4 days, but if you dead, you dead. If you dead for some hours, why wouldn't you consider that one who's dead and have departed from the land of the living and the earth? But here the sister is, man, guaranteed if you've been laying down for some hours and been declared dead, everybody's going to believe you ain't coming back. And here the sister is that they said, man, they were trying to close the casket, and they heard her knocking and rattling on the casket, man, and she was still moving, and they was like, oh, snap. So that's just an example that we see in the Spirit, that the Most High just still leaves us little nuggets to increase and to help us solidify our faith, so that we ain't reading stories like Lazarus and saying that's impossible. Remember, he said, if you got the faith of a mustard seed. So he said, all you need is a little bit. I'll show you an example where I put a woman to death for some hours and brought her back to life. All you got to have is a little faith to believe the rest of the stories and the histories that we read, right? There was just there's been a couple of stories in regards to like Jonah. That's always a question. When what whale ate somebody in 3 days? He's living. Come on, they just had a story, man, and I forgot where it was, but a whale jumped up and bit and swallowed two kayakers and spit them back out. There was another story that happened to another Edomite man like 3-4 years ago. So beginning, swallowed or putting in the mouth of a huge fish, so to speak, and still surviving is possible. But you need a little faith to believe and carry on the rest of the way. Join the military, become a U.S. citizen. Uncle Sam wants you and vous and two. So vous is French for you, and two is Spanish for you. Now we know the scriptures say, man, if he have need of thee, he'll use thee, right? Join the military, become a U.S. citizen. Uncle Sam wants you. This is how we're seeing him utilizing the immigration status to help build up his defenses because why? We're at a point of war right now. So he's telling the quote unquote legal immigrants that's already over here, we can fast track your paperwork and making you legal if you come on in and join the ranks. See, but see, Esau, Lord, man, what's the guy's name? Uh, hold on, damn it, what's that guy's name? Lord, uh, can't remember that guy's name. Lord, drawing a blank. I think this is him. Hold on one second. Yeah. Here you go. Why hasn't got his name? It's Lord. Damn. Slucky, y'all. Give me one sec. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Dunsmuir. Damn. Wow. Lord Dunsmuir. Lord Dunmore. See, look at it. Lord Dunsmore. How many of y'all knew about this guy? People be crediting, oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, Emancipation Proclamation, all that. No. A British satrap, governor, ruler in Virginia named Lord Dunsmore in 1775 made an emancipation to propose freedom for slaves if they helped the British fight in the Civil War. So we're talking 1775, a year before the quote unquote 1776, July 4th, was every dumbed down Negro and Hispanic gonna be celebrating next month, talking about Independence Day. Year before that, Lord Dunmore put a proclamation out there to try to get Jakes to join the army and promising freedom if they help fight the British against the so-called patriots of the South. Look at this. On November 7th, 1775, John Murray, 4th Earl of Dunmore and governor of the British colony of Virginia, wrote the document known as Dunmore's Proclamation. It promised freedom to any indentured servants. Look at this. It promised freedom to any indentured servants, enslaved African Americans, or others held in bondage by American revolutionaries, so long as they were willing to bear arms for British troops fighting against American forces during the Revolutionary War. A week after drafting the proclamation, Dunmore had it published on November 14th. I do hereby further declare all indentured servants, Negroes, or others appertaining to rebels free that are able and willing to bear arms, they joining His Majesty's troops as soon as may be. So he's running around out there through this particular document known as Dunmore's Proclamation. Y'all can look up more of this. Lord Dunmore, John Murray, made the first quote unquote emancipation proclamation for the Negro, proposing freedom for service in the military. And then some months later, man, he withdrew it because of the pressures of people thinking like once you get Jakes out here with guns and freedom, they're going to start rebelling and taking over. So, like the scriptures say, man, if he have need of thee, he'll use thee. They credit, Abraham Lincoln with the first one coming up. They had a few different emancipation, documents, all based upon them needing Jake's help and offering freedom for their help in their lives. Like, oh, we're going to grant you freedom if you survive the war. You can get your freedom, and so they had Jake's lining up. I think they had either 800 or a couple thousand or something like that they got. The numbers vary how many, were able to be recruited and come on in. But that's just Esau, man, constantly using us and abusing us, man. So here he goes again, using the same tactics. Join the military, you become a citizen. He said, see, that's how you know he's a devil, man. He used the same tactics that he was using 300 plus years ago. He's still doing it today, telling the illegal, they call them legal immigrants, still waiting to get their papers approved and everything else. Oh, you can be a citizen. We'll fast track it if you come in and fight this war. But know that this is the last world war. This is the third one. You may not survive this one. So your citizenship means nothing, But there you go, trying to use people again. Nearly 1 in 5 adults been diagnosed with depression, and the prevalence varies dramatically by state. CDC reports. What's everybody so depressed for? Maybe it's a sign of the times. Maybe it's this diagnosis of why Esau wants to create a medicated state to have everybody on these mood-altering and depressive drugs. That's where everybody's at. So we're seeing the spirit of 1 out of every 5 people is all depressed, man. But I thought happy days are here again. I thought, everything's great. America's ruling. The great whore is shaking her tail all over the place. No, people are seeing the spirit, man. Things ain't all as good as what they seem. All right, let's continue. Will Hunter Biden's business partner dish on the Burisma bribe? Devin Archer is cooperating with Republicans over an alleged $10 million bribe to the First family. So, slow Biden's crackhead, dope fiend son, they still got him on the hook with the laptop information. Now they're coming out with millions of dollars of bribes. I showed y'all what all of the family was getting money from this thing. And now his buddy is turning cooperating informant. So could this mean that the Biden family is going to finally get caught up in their folly? We'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Wall Street job cuts set to hit more than 15,000 this year. Citigroup becomes the latest company to announce 5,000 layoffs amid challenging job market since the financial crisis. So Citigroup, Wall Street, the economic sector, 5,000 layoffs coming in there. But they're talking about how the economy is balancing and sustaining itself. Don't worry, Grey Horse in control. Look at this. Exclusive. Inside the bungled probe into death of a Native American woman killed by a car driven by a white supremacist whose children are named Aryan and Nation, who has not been charged. So this sister right here, she's walking on the highway in Montana. She gets hit, put to death by this damn demon over here. They have not arrested her. I mean, she hasn't been charged. She got arrested, hadn't been charged. And the investigators and the police is talking about, well, whether or not Mika Westwolf, which is the Northern Kingdom sister here, whether or not she was drunk. What does it matter? She was drunk walking on the street. What the woman, the damn white woman, is the one who hit her and killed her. And they're saying, well, maybe the Native American, maybe she was drunk. Always trying to find a way and a reason to blame our own people, man, for destruction. And here this white woman is with a history of white supremacist ideologies, and she names her kids Aryan and Nation. And there's no suspicion of a hate crime, really. Look at this. Mika's death is sadly not unusual. 239 people have been killed on the road in the Flathead Indian Reservation since 2021. Almost 240 people getting killed off the road. Remember I told y'all a few weeks ago how many crimes happen, especially female abductions off of the reservations because of the laws and the stipulations within the Native American governments and the American governments and the borders of the reservations. You cross over those, you're in the American territory, they not backing you up. Abductions happening, rapes, all that other stuff. This is the same type of stuff that's going on. So you had almost 240 killed on this Flathead Indian reservation since 2021, getting killed off of these roads, man, all probably being done by these damn heathens over here. And they trying to blame her, saying maybe she was drunk, that she got hit by a car. I mean, this is the type of backwards folly that's going on. That's why I just said when we started off with woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, this is the type of stuff we're talking about, y'all. And there we see the rise of Esau trying to come back. Officials denounce KKK flyers left in the Kentucky neighborhoods. So the Klan is trying to come back. Look at this. Officials denounce Nazi demonstration outside Disney amid rising anti-Semitism in Florida. So every minute they denouncing something. Oh, officials are denouncing the flyers in Kentucky. Oh, we got to denounce the Nazi demonstrations in Florida. Oh, neo-Nazi groups, we got to denounce them over here in Brazil. So remember, the scriptures even talk about nation rising against nation. That's nationality against nationality, race wars. That now is becoming more prevalent. Neo-Nazi groups multiply in more in conservative Brazil. See? Look at this. Last November, just hours before a social gathering for Haitian immigrants in the town of Itajaí in the southern Brazilian state of Santa Catarina, event organizer Andrea Muller received a chilling message. Cancel the Haiti exhibition or we will commit a massacre, read the subject line of the email seen by Reuters. Santa Catarina is a land of white people for white people. Ain't that some stuff? When Brazil is predominantly so-called black. But here they are trying to carve out in their colonization minds. Oh no, this is our people. This is our land. It's for white people. Sig Heil. Unreal. But that's the spirit that's out there. See this? Texas is expected to break the power demand record as heat intensifies this week. So, brothers and sisters out there in Texas, man, hopefully y'all are well and, maintain through the week. But this is what Esau's putting out there, that there could be some issues with the power grid because of the demands for air conditioning and higher intentions of power needed to cool down. So we'll see where that goes. All right. So we've made it. Completion of DSTM. Episode 213. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. We'll be entering into our new moon. The sun goes down in our hemisphere, in our area. We still got probably about another, give or take, a little less than 3 hours before sundown over here. Some of y'all are already embarking on it, quite possibly. I'm not sure. But if you are and you're keeping it this evening, man, Most High be with you. Be blessed. Enjoy. Most High willing, maybe I might try to make something happen again tomorrow to get off some of these more of this information for brothers and sisters. Time is at hand, y'all. Time is at hand. Elkanah, what you say? AB 957 actually passed already on June 14, 2023. Wow, I gotta double back and check that one out, man. Because I know they said they was proposing it, but they already passed it. It's all bad. All bad. Yeah. Appreciate that. I'll check that out, man. I'll check that out. But yeah. So y'all know what time it is. So that's it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Lord willing, I'll be back. We'll see y'all again in the very near future. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, and don't shoot the messenger. All right. Shalom.